to personalize you when you are talking to me, when you are interacting with me. I will be able to deliver experiences that are tailored to your need. We come down the level from multi-channel, we start calling it omni-channel. So there is a slight nuance on how we differentiate this multi and omni. So it becomes much more personalized. It becomes solution, it becomes communication that are tailored to your needs, take you through a journey on the brand. So a very broad differentiation. What happens at NoBroker? I have to take our experience and kind of explain that. NoBroker is a very different kind of organization in that we don't have one agent. We have a person who is a supplier or a person who owns the apartment, wants to give it or rent or sell it. And we have a seeker who is looking to buy an apartment or looking to rent an apartment. So what do I do with an owner? He is maybe available at 5 different channels, while the tenant or the buyer is available on completely different channels. And how these channels are expanding at this point of time. So till 2 years back, connected TV as a channel didn't really exist. If I have to go back to pre-NTO days, HD as a channel was separate medium was there, but wasn't really explored because HD penetration wasn't there. So over the course of time, I know that okay, I have tenants who are maybe cord cutters, a lot of perhaps people like you, I should be able to target them on X, Y, Z medium. While the owners, who's perhaps a person who's 50, 55, 60, retired, owns 2 houses and kind of manages, I cannot reach out to him on OTT. I'll perhaps reach out to him on TV, Facebook, WhatsApp, because that is what he does. So it is very important to get this personalization and right understanding of that customer in one place. And once you get that, then the journey starts becoming easier. And maybe not delve deep into omnichannel this point of time, I will keep that as a later part of the discussion, but that is when things become interesting. Because you've done the first bit, but how do you take it to step number 2?
Thanks for that, and before Sharad answers, I think the interesting aspect is what Vaibhav is describing. If you're familiar with NoBroker, you know what I'm saying. The scale at which they're operating. The last year was what, 16, 18 million registered users?
I mean, not to brag about it, but we've had customers say about 7,000 crores in brokerage till now. I'm assuming some of you will be customers who found a place from the broker. And yes, that is actual savings that we deliver to people like that. I was a customer even before I joined NoBroker, I have saved on brokerage. So yes, in terms of scale, I said we've had about 10 million app. In terms of user base, it's about 25 million till now. So,
yep, thanks for that. We would like to see if we have time towards the end. Don't mind, I'm sorry. So, Sharad, you guys are literally disrupting the industry. And I don't know how many hundreds of years. But it will be really interesting to hear your views about multi-channel experience. What's the playbook you're looking at?
So, hi everyone. The way we look at multi-channel is that the approach multi-channel has always existed in the marketing world, right? Like it used to be TV and outdoor and offline channels primarily in the early days. We kind of went to email marketing after that. We started doing SMS marketing after that. And I think in the last 10-15 years, we're getting more and more entry into customers' personal channel. More and more personal space, like from email, SMS, to push notifications, to WhatsApp also now, and some other aspects as well. The way we look at it is that there are 3 things that we have to pay attention to. Multi-channel approach. One is when do we speak to the customer? Second, where do we speak to the customer? Multi-channel, and third, what do we talk to the customer? And a mix of all of these 3 things is what we try to build intelligence and try to find out how much granular can we go for each customer to give the experience sort of deserves, and make that multi-channel approach not look like one and doesn't look like which is including the personal space of the customer. So our playbook sort of just revolves around trying to get better and better into just these things. Basically
Sriram, over to you. I mean, you are in such an interesting category, and I won't steal the thunder, but there are a couple of things which really stand out about Frazo. In case you don't touch it, I'm going to show you, bring it up.
Sure. Right. So what Frazo does is gives you the freshest fruits and vegetables across the country. If you are looking for Alfonso mangoes from Devgarh, or you're looking for lychees from Bihar, or you're looking for Nendran from Tamil Nadu, or you're looking for Baganpalli from Andhra, we buy it directly from farmers across and possibly deliver to your doorstep in about 90 minutes. Right? It's a difficult category fundamentally because freshness is really offline. I will go, there's a lot of touch and feel, like in pharmacy you have trust of if the medicine's authentic. Here it is that somebody likes big bhindi, somebody likes small bhindi, somebody likes ripe banana, somebody likes raw bananas. With papayas it's a huge problem, and a lot of us would say that hey, we buy offline because we get the best online experience, right? Multi-channel, if we were to look at the topic, really comes in because our consumers are really present in different channels, so we really don't have a choice, and we have to be present where consumers are present, which is different channels, and that's the way we look at that. We want to be present where consumers are present, which is a set of channels. The solution to it is obviously or has to be personalized to the user and to the channel. For example, say Instagram is really image heavy, while the options in SMS is limited, and what works in SMS is possibly about getting traffic on the app, while say social media is all about branding, awareness and recall, right? So the relevant message in a given channel is extremely important. So the way we look at multi-channel possibly is that, am I able to communicate what the consumer wants to hear in that specific channel? For example, while we're talking about multi-channel, a lot of us are app-first companies, right? So the primary channel for all of us is somebody opens the app and transacts. So why does a new channel really, or why is a new channel really necessary, right? So that's a question that we really start reflecting, because obviously there's a cost of fatigue involved, because when you over-communicate, or if you, for example, look at communicating in all the channels and deploy a spray mechanism, people start ignoring your communication. So possibly the right communication in the right channel, as the other panels have been speaking about, and what's effective in each of these channels. For example, if I'm really looking on a Sunday and I want to buy vegetables, can I show a relevant offer to a set of people who are not coming to the app? Or if somebody is really looking for Alfonso mangoes and have bought it 4 days back, now it's not in stock, can I talk to them that it's back in stock, and what is the right channel for it? Possibly the right channel for it is not Facebook. The right channel for it is WhatsApp, because that's where a user is. Somebody is not really on WhatsApp, so you send an SMS. So the right channel for a specific user for a specific purpose is something that I think all of us are trying to do.
No, thanks for that. And when I and Sriram were chatting up, what kind of stood out?
Channel, a multi-channel for us at ITC. Every second household, don't know how statistically how much it is true, consumes an ITC product on a daily basis. So when you look at that scale, I have to look at multi-channel from both windows, from a product window and also from a marketing window. Right? When I say product window, an ITC product is being sold in a remote village somewhere, where marketing means a simple dangler at the point of sale. That is also marketing, right? And then you have obviously Febble chocolates, which is 350, 400 rupees, which are being sold at ITC hotels and exclusive boutiques. So there's a range of product that is there. And if you go to itcstore.in, which I'm not doing my marketing here, but still, just go and check. How many of you know we have some 850 products from ITC, and you will be consuming them on a daily basis, not even knowing that this is from ITC. For example, a lot of people they start to know this ship matches is also ITC. We never knew about that. So many people think it's Ashirwad Atta, or people think, Bingo chips or Yippee noodles. But there are so many products also that you consume on a daily basis and you see all around you, but you do not realize it's from the same organization. So one of the things for us when we opened the ITC store was to basically tell people that all these products are coming from the same organization. And obviously being the last speaker, I have the advantage of everything being said already about the marketing. But I want to leave you with a thought that when you're looking at marketing and product, we are in general trade, we are in modern trade, we are on marketplaces, we have our own direct to consumer. I told you small mom and pop shops in villages. So you look at a complete plethora of marketing channels where the product is being sold, and everywhere you have to decide what is the right thing to do. So for example, what is most important in case of ITC, because there are products which are substitutable, you can buy this biscuit or that biscuit, this noodle or that noodle, that is always there. But at the moment of truth, when you are going to click the button on an Amazon or a Groffer or a Big Basket, can you see my banner? That's the moment of truth there, and then you make a choice. When you're going to buy ghee, are you seeing Swasti Ashirwad ghee, or are you seeing Patanjali ghee, or seeing, at the moment of truth, am I present or not? At the moment of truth, when somebody is going to buy the product in a shop near your house, you just see my ad on a Facebook or Instagram, you remember that, and then you say, okay, let me try this or let me go for this. So I think that is the angle that I want to bring in, that for each of the channel, you have to decide what is the right marketing, and then decide that where my customer is, how, and what is the best way. So for some of the channels, awareness is very big, because everybody can buy a 10 rupee chips packet, but some of the channels, you have to do very targeted marketing, for example, chocolates. So that's the thought I would
Absolutely, thanks. And you left out the new capability, right? Which is, me speaking about it, I can customize the atta, right? The ground I want.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we are still working on it, but yeah, it's already in trial in Delhi. So ITC disrupted the whole atta market like some 15, 20 years ago, and everybody now consumes Ashirwad atta. But one big thing that we're also finding out, that there's still a lot of people who still go to the chakki, and why they go, because they want the atta to be either coarse or fine, or and then they have different mixes and all that. So we are trying that, can we disrupt that market where people are actually buying from chakki, and then you can actually customize your atta. And the way we are visualizing it, I hope you will be able to see it very soon, is that you will see your atta being made, because that's the experience we want to bring. You get a WhatsApp message which will customize your name and how your atta is being made, and then you get it next day fresh. So that's the atta thing. Yeah, we're all very excited about that.
Yeah, so thanks for that. So actually you're right. So you want to hear, given the 4 panel members are from very different industries, you saw the kind of depth and breadth in what they had to share about their very multi-channel experiences. So let me kind of go a little more deeper now, right? So when you're talking about running this at scale, can you talk about how are you looking at the segmentation aspect, right? What we call as the RFM.
So I start off from a point which I left in the previous conversation. I was talking about, okay, you've done a lot of marketing on different channels. You've gone on TV, you've gone on Facebook, you've gone on Instagram, you've gone outdoor. But ultimately, when a customer comes on your platform, and I think it holds to a lot of app-first organizations in terms of where you need to know about the customer or what he or she is doing. What becomes very important is, excuse me, what you tell him and when. Just to give you an example, for example, if a tenant is coming on my platform and they're looking for a house, they're browsing through maybe 10, 15, 20 houses, they contact a few houses as well, they talk to the owner, figure out if that house suits them or not, or maybe go ahead and do a visit. I at the back end know that he is a tenant who is looking for a house. At the first instance, I know ultimately he has to go, 90% he's going to book a packers and movers. Now if he's going to book a packer and mover, when should I go ahead and talk about him about packers and movers? Should I tell him on the first instant when I know there is intent of this being a tenant? Should I talk to him about packer and mover when he's done a 5th contact owner or contact with 10th person? A lot of that becomes important, because if you're able to put across your message at the right time, for example, he's just closing his house. He's figured out, talk to the owner, giving him a deposit, and I say, okay, now you've done this, let's get you back and moved at the cheapest price possible. I mean, that is the thing that he wants at that point of time. So it is, how do we go about from bringing him on the platform? He goes through a journey, and you are able to identify through signals, because millions of people are interacting on the platform. You take a lot of that data, I'll use a term which is kind of used, I mean, so casually these days, but put AI ML behind it. And ultimately try to bring out that sweet spot. Okay, this is the time when these customers are likely to have closed a house and hence open for a pain of communication. Similar is the case for an owner who comes and put his house on rent. Some owners will put the house on rent before the tenant has moved out. Some of them will put the house on the platform when the tenant has moved out already. But they need to get the house painted. So what are the signals that I have? How can I identify which are the people where tenants are already present, hence I should not talk to them about painting, or where the house is already empty, hence I can pitch them about painting. So it's about identifying a lot of that by information that that customer itself is providing. Therefore, segmenting and understanding, so it is not as if there will be just one or two segments in this. Because the audience is so large, we have more than 10 lakh houses on the platform. The idea is to how granularly we can identify which stage a customer is and go ahead and talk to them accordingly. Another thing which is important, which I think was addressed earlier as well, is again all of these, which platform or which channel do you send this message? Is it WhatsApp, because everybody may not be on there? Is it SMS? Is it on Facebook? Or is it on Instagram? So these are the choices that all of us have to make at an everyday level, where we define how and where we reach out to the customer, and that is what ultimately drives ROI, drives the revenue. I mean, and then there's no magic bullet for it. You have to experiment, see if it, keep on improving whatever you are doing every day to be able to reach a place where you say, okay, I know there's certain ROI that I'm getting at this point of time.
Yep. No, thanks for that. You want to take a shot at it, Sharat?
Yeah. In our category, we like it or not, but you just can't make something like this. So there is no impulse buy, there is no way you can send a push notification with an offer and like hundreds of people are buying medicines.
Are you coming down with cancer?
So, and the way we look at it is that the only way we can sell more or make the customer keep coming back to the platform and everything in the devices is when we understand the patient. And so when we try to build like a framework, there are multiple things that we look on the x-axis, for example. So is the customer who is buying the medicine, is he buying for himself or someone else in the family? Which condition or symptom or problem he is buying for? How mature in the journey with pharmacy is the customer in? Is he buying something for OTC product or hardcore chronic disease medicine? And try to build some model to say this is the bucket this customer falls into and this is what he's going to do, she's going to buy it again and again. And the job becomes that how do you make sure that whenever he or she needs that medicine again, you're definitely in front of him. Before that or after that, you just can't do much about it, right? So for that same, for the customer, when make sure that he buys again, we try to personalize as much as we can when the need arises. But on other times, we also have parallel categories like we sell OTC products, we sell diagnostics tests where the need could be in different time as well. And that's why we're trying to find signals that if someone is buying a specific medicine, what could be a related product that he or she might be looking for at any other given point, right? And then there is another layer of if because medicine also is just a household buy, right? One person in the family mostly buys for the entire family. It's not everyone consuming for himself or herself. So the person should also be aware of the value that pharmacy brings if the person buys for medicines or any need of healthcare from pharmacy. So touching base upon like whatever is potentially learning that what would someone else in the family be needing if they have kids, what would they be needing if they have elders in the family, what would they be needing, and trying to build intelligence on top of that you might be needing this if you have someone else in the family and be relevant for that customer by using the multi-channel approach that we discussed earlier. So that's how we sort of try to go more personalized by understanding who the patient is, what do they actually need instead of us trying to even sell without it.
Yeah, now we get that. So Sriram, you have very successfully put the Alfonso Mango in my head. I can't get out of the image. I need to buy it today. So your take on segmentation?
Yeah, I think all of us can think of this problem because eventually it's buying fruits and vegetables and it's very, it's something we do very often. We need to communicate every day, and I mean, we look at problem statements in 2 steps. One is people opening the app, and second, converting. Converting is fairly, I mean, there's very little control we have because it's about selection, it's about price, and it's about availability, right? In case dhania is not available on the platform or onions not available on the platform, people will bounce away because consumers hate to buy from 2 different platforms. They will go to the place where a coriander or an onion is present, right? So availability, once somebody's really opened the app and they want to be a value proposition, it's about availability, selection, and price. To get users to open the app every day, because consumers generally buy vegetables twice a week, is the challenge. And a lot of purchase really happens in the morning. So one of the problem statements that a lot of F&B or grocery players struggle with is what time do you send a communication and how do you segment users, because there are some people who are early risers, some people who are late risers, and how do you identify this? And I think Vaibhav spoke about signals, and it just hits me that a lot of tools, while we can have as many tools, identifying the right signals is like really important. One way that we try and do it is what time do users open the app, and that's best time to send by a lot of SaaS platforms. The other tool is what time do generally people order. Someone who's placing an order at 9 p.m. and saying I don't want the vegetable at 6 a.m. I want it at 8 a.m. means that he doesn't wake up at 6 a.m. Do not send him a communication 6 a.m. While there is a user who generally does not like getting a slot at 8 a.m. because he's going to office, you know that if you have to deliver vegetables, you have to deliver at 6 a.m. And if he doesn't buy at 6, he's going to buy in the evening. So that's one way of identifying the signal and saying, hey, this is the right time to communicate to the user. And in case you're communicating to a user who's going to office at 9, say 9 a.m., it's going to be fatigue and he's really going to be irritated more than being happy. So that's really about one way of segmenting for the time to set. The other one is identifying the right products. Like I spoke about 2 things. One is getting users to open the app. Open the app is definitely, or in the categories, because it's something that people use every day, you just can't give a generic message, hey, interesting vegetables. It's vegetables that's really pertinent to the user or something users like. For example, if somebody does not like Karela and I talk to them about Karela, they will uninstall the app. Right? Or if someone really loves bitter gourd, and there are people who exist who love bitter gourd, by the way, they will open the app the moment you send a communication about bitter gourd. Right? There's also a category who works on impulse purchase, and you talk to them about, hey, I just got the best Alfonso's, and they immediately come and buy it. There's a category who is extremely price sensitive. 1 rupee lower onion and they purchase it. So there are different ways of segmenting and personalizing. You identify, hey, is this a price seeker? Is this a quality conscious user? Is it someone who is generally buying on impulse? And you possibly categorize them or like segment them basis the age or the family size. And it's a combination of the right product, the type of user, and the time in which you are sending, which kind of works for us to get users to open the app.
No, so thanks for that. Rajneesh?
So yeah, there's this quote which is 100-year-old. It's from the father of modern marketing. Marketing is 100-year-old. It still holds true. Every marketer knows that 50% of your marketing budget goes down the drain, and you do not know which 50%. So that's why you can't stop it, right? So that's what personalization is all about. If I'm showing my ad of chocolates to somebody who's a diabetic or somebody who's trying to lose weight, I'm losing money there, right? And that's what the problem statement is. So where does it start? All organizations, all of us are in marketing, have tons of customer data, tons and tons of customer data. Now you want to scrub it, clean it, create segments, but segments are still very, very high level, right? Problem is still there. You're showing wrong ads to wrong people. Now you come to cohorts to try to refine it more and more. But what exactly are you trying to do? You are trying to create personas. The problem is that I am a different person. Trust me, those who know me well, I'm a very different person in the morning, very different person in the evening. And that's where the persona comes in, right? And with the huge variety of products that we have, I want to catch you at let's say 4 p.m. when you're having your tea and show you an ad for a Mary biscuit, right? Or in the evening when you're having party, I want to show you an ad for a chips, right? So the persona will actually help you reach the right customer, not only that, but at the right time. That is very, very important, because the tendency to click that ad or push that shop now button will be much, much higher. Therefore, a simple trick is that your creators must match the persona. So for example, if I love music and you show me a creative which has music in it, my tendency to click on that or react to that will be much, much higher. And when you're talking huge numbers, that we all do, a small change of 15, 20, 30% means 2 crore, 3 crore rupees if you look at the scale of the marketing, right? So just by showing the right creative to the right persona, that should be the goal of every marketing person. And then when you succeed doing that, showing the right creative to the right persona at the right time, I think half of the job is done. And I think that code is going to still hold true for another 50 years. And we will all try to keep evolving as we go along.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. And I haven't met the night version of you, so I should. So we have time for one last person. And I'm sure it's something which you all would absolutely want to know from each of the panel members. So, it's about the ROI, right? Great personalized experience, we spoke about it, the opportunity, everything. How do you really measure the ROI of it?
Okay, I will have a very simple answer to this. Like all businesses, it is all about the top line. Ultimately, it is all about customer conversions. And we have seen, for this example that we were talking about, when should I send a message to a prospective tenant about a package of movies? We have seen that over a period of 7-8 months, we've been able to nearly double the conversion rate for our customers. Now, as I said, it is not something that will happen overnight. You have to figure out multiple things, understand the customer better, try and sometimes you do, sometimes you win. So for us, the best metric for us is, okay, is the customer able to avail our services? And that is what we try to do across the spectrum, be it as a tenant packer movers, owners taking painting, a new buyer doing an ETA service, a lot of tenants coming back and paying their rent through us with a credit card. So most of those services are driven by pure KPIs of conversion rates and the number of people that we are able to convert.
Like Vishal said, right? It's definitely about top line. Everyone is trying to figure out a way to have more and more customers stay with the platform, right? But there are just certain detailed nuances which you could look at to understand if the personalization, your multi-channel approach is working well, better or not. And it works both ways. You can measure it by looking at how the interaction of a customer improves when you do better, and the number of customers who leave also changes, right? The churn rate also is a good example. So we try to measure both of them in a detailed way. We'll keep a very close eye on how every move that we make and what changes do we make sort of impact both of these metrics, and eventually the yield will go. So that's all.
Yeah, thanks. Sriram?
Yeah, so I think all of us will conclude the top line is like the most important thing, but the objective of a channel is also possibly different, and the ROI of each of those channels will be different. For example, while the easiest or the free channel that we have is say push notification and say that is the best channel, for someone to click on the push notification, you might have to invest in a different channel, and possibly the objective will be different. Print as a channel will never give you immediate results, but it builds trust. TV is an extremely expensive channel, and logically it may not make sense, but it builds trust, right? So I think the objective of channel, and if that is achieved in the long term, you're getting your top line right, I think that will help. If we don't invest in a certain set of channels, then possibly the top line will never grow. And that's a good measure of it, that is the top line growing, and for that it becomes necessary to invest in a set of channels.
Yep, thanks.
So I always tend to have a different point of view. ROI actually is a myth. I wish I was doing marketing, 10, 15, 20 years back, to put up a hoarding, do a TV ad, and nobody asks. And when Narasimhan asking for ROI, he looks like my boss asking for ROI.
But you put up the hoarding because your boss will see everything.
Yeah, but that was much easier. So many people are seeing, but nobody is actually asking. In the digital world, somehow everybody feels that there is some very brand matrix. That's what you're. How are you going to track it? You're going to go to 500 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, how many people? But you've shown your ad to 2 million people, 20 million, 30 million impressions. You are still asking 500 people. And those people also on the panel, you do not know how true they are. You know, they say something, they record something else. Yeah, dekha hai, bilkul. You go and ask bingo ka ad, हाँ देखा है, because you are seeding in their mind. You know, you never know how true that interaction is. So that is, even if you're looking at something as solid as cost per download or cost per acquisition in a channel, e-commerce, which I run, Facebook will say this customer came because of me. Google will say because of me. And then I will say no, because of organic, because I put up the holding there. That's why people are downloading this, right? So there is, I mean, obviously, what you can say is that something is working better than the other, right? And you set up your benchmarks and say, okay, this is the way to go because this is performing better than the other. It looks like general direction, but there is no. I wish there was, and still the whole industry is struggling to find out a common benchmark to measure, you know, the ROI. And whatever rocks your boat, I think that's what.
Yeah, thanks for that. And you reminded me the OD in Bandra, right? Yeah. No, so I knew it 40 minutes is not enough. Unfortunately, 40 minutes are over. I wanted 2 hours for this panel. They refused to give it to me. So thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for joining.